Hey guys, I'm Jesse with Canine Perspective, and we're here with Max, the GSD here. He's a very anxious German Shepherd. He's here for a 2-week board and train. Today is actually day 2. He was dropped off yesterday around 10 a.m. and it is currently 12. So he's only been here about 26 hours. But we covered heel yesterday, so we're gonna start applying the heel in the real world. So again, I'm just kind of covering how we go about finding the dog's working number, and then how quickly this can be begin being implemented in the real world when you have the correct tools and the correct methods. Okay, so I'm currently at 15 here. Tap, tap, tap. See a little response there. We're gonna go to 20. Tap, 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 tap. 25. Tap, tap, tap. Fix our collar here. 30. Tap, right there. Go down a little bit. 28. There we go. So we're gonna start at 28. Heel. And we're gonna begin tip. Just implementing this on a normal walk. So that turnaround method that I always talk about, or that I've been talking about, we just take that and apply it on a normal walk. So we turn into the turns because I'm trying to go in one consistent direction, but we can see he continues to stray. We're gonna go to 30 from the 28. Tip. Good. Good. So you can see some caution here. Tip. Good. Okay, there we go. So passing here, and then he slows down. This is good. So yesterday when I worked with him, his number was actually as high as 70, but then I ended up dipping it down lower. I believe we went down tap, tap, to like 35, and then I ended up working my way back up to a 45. So my assumption would be, his number is going to be higher than 45. But because he's only been here just over a day, we're still calibrating, so to speak, because in the beginning the number is typically higher because the dog's not thinking that there's going to be this thing on their neck, tap, that's communicating with them, telling them what to do and what not to do. Like he's still in the process of learning that. Now, right now, you can see he's foraging, tap. So chances are his number's going to be higher than 30 here. And it can be the anxiety factor. So even if he's vocalizing, which is usually what gets people, tip. Good. They hear the vocalization and they go, oh, I'm hurting the dog. It's probably too high. And I go, yes, that can be the case. But in other cases, it can be the dog's just over threshold in terms of their stress level. So they're vocalizing more so because we're adding another stressor on top of their current stress, okay? So to give you a little background on Max, I met Max last year during a Jeff Gelman seminar at our facility. And the owners came back a couple weeks ago, did the consult because they needed the boredom. No one will really take him, or they'll take him but they don't want to keep him, or they'll tell the owners to come pick him up. So if they've tried to use other daycare facilities, tap, and within a couple hours they'll call them to tell them come pick your dog up, he's not doing well. Sounds like we just had a firework in the background there. He's also had rover or caretakers come over, but then after a couple of days they can't watch him anymore because his anxiety goes through the roof. So they came to us, they did the consult, we have him officially for 2 weeks, and this is day 2 of that 2-week board and train. And he's already doing much better with the structure of the facility and the structure of the training. Tip, tip. With the structure of the training, we're gonna go this way. And he's actually already started to settle down. So like yesterday, he was highly anxious because he was just dropped off. Makes sense. But now that he's had a few sessions of training with the e-collar and some discipline, some focus, learning how to turn off, learning how to relax, he's actually started to relax more. And so this would be his first time out on the walk. Usually we delay this a little bit, but I wanted to, again, demonstrate and show how quickly e-collar heel can work when you do it correctly. And also with Max, some issues that other places have had with him is that people can't handle him because he gets so stressed out, he starts to become reactive, okay? Now, when I first interacted with Max, He was in the isolation pen. You good? Or do you want to go more center?
I'm good.
You're good? And I had to go get him, and the collar happened to turn off. I think it was a faulty collar, and then he started growling, kind of becoming defensive. So I went to put my bite suit on, and then used a fish hook, or not a fish hook, a boat hook, to make contact with him to see if he would do anything. He didn't do anything. He was just kind of bluffing. And I began working with him. And then after that, we've been able to handle him, no issue. So typically in the beginning, when we get a dog like Max, where we think that, we'll cross the street here, where we think that they're gonna have problems with the staff, tap, problems with the staff, I'll handle them first. And then once I get them to a point where I trust them, then I can have staff interact. And for Max, by the end of yesterday, so his first day, I already had another staff member able to take him out. So he's a case that I would say is misunderstood and is mishandled. It's not that the owners aren't trying. They are trying. I believe they had an e-collar last time when they were at the seminar. They also had him on the prong collar. So they're obviously trying, but they just didn't have the right methodology to go with the tools. So we're back. So what was I saying?
The owners had the e-collar
Oh,
before.
so the owners had the, thanks. So the owners had the right tools. Yep. They just did not have the right methods quite yet. So once he completes his board and train and they start following through, we should start seeing a lot of these behaviors go away. One of them being reactivity. He is territorial over the owner, so he's reactive when he's with them. With us, we haven't seen that, but he is out of his element. But then also, since we know what we're doing, and I work with my staff, we're able to take dogs like Max that other places reject. Okay, now we do get, obviously, if there's like a more severe case of human aggression and stuff, the dogs are required to be muzzle trained or conditioned prior coming to us, because that's a liability. But many cases are actually just dogs that are misunderstood and, you got it? Are misunderstood and mishandled. So when we see a dog tap, 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 so we can see he's ignoring here, so I'm gonna go to 35, tap, tap. But he did good for a good stretch at the 30. You know, a lot of daycare facilities don't know what they're doing, so when they get a dog like Max and they start to see reactivity, they tend to look at it as aggression, but it's not aggression, it's reactivity. If it was aggression, then he would have tried to bite me when I tried to leash him up, even after I put the, you know, when I had my bite suit on or what have you. So as we start to focus his brain and reel him in and stuff, we expect he's gonna make a lot of progress. Right now, I can tell, and I just gave him a tap there, that he's doing much better currently. We're at the 35, but you can still see where he's distracted by things like right there. He caught a scent and he immediately went for it. So that actually is what tells me that his number's actually probably gonna be a little bit higher, okay? We're gonna get to a point where when he's putting the heel, he's gonna be just consistent across the board, but we are only just over 24 hours into his board and train, and we can already see he's picking up on the concepts very quickly, okay? So, and this isn't really anything about like, oh, I'm trying to brag and go like, oh, I can train the dog super quick. It's just, again, demonstrating and showing when you understand the tools and you use them correctly, progress is gonna be very quick, okay? A reason why this is important is a lot of people lose confidence or they lose hopes when they're doing other methods and they're just not making any progress, or they'll hear things like, oh, it'll get better. It's just gonna take, you know, a few years. Like, people don't wanna work on these things, we're gonna go this way, for years, right? They would like something that's gonna be effective as immediately as possible. What we're gonna do is we'll cross here and then go that way, okay? They start to lose patience and are not motivated, or lose motivation is actually what I'm trying to say, is lose motivation because they're not seeing enough of a change to incentivize them to continue to continue the training. And yes, some people have come to me and they're like, my previous trainer told me it was going to take 2 to 3 years for me to fix this problem, and then we come in and then get it done within a class or two. Okay, we have to remember that dogs are creatures of consequence. They nip and bite each other. They're physical creatures. That's why I like to refer to the e-collar as a bite on the button. I'm nipping and biting Max here every time he does something I don't want him to do, to keep him in line for the heel position. Right there, he just looked that way. I don't care that he looked that way because he's still moving with me. What I don't want is that he gets too distracted and then goes for a scent or something, okay? But right now, a little bit behind me, perfectly fine, still within the acceptable range of heel. Plus it's hotter today, so the heat's slowing him down a little bit, but we can already see how focused he is, okay? And again, he's only had a few sessions, and this is his tap, first walk ever with us outside, and right away we're getting the brain to focus. We had a truck just come by, very loud. We saw him get a little nervous. I tapped him 2 times to refocus him. People usually go like, oh, you can't correct the dog for that. I go, you absolutely can, and you should, because especially with a guy like Max here, who's like a nervous, anxious dog, the more he does these things, the more he's allowed to just be nervous, the more it becomes a part of who he is. So right now, when I corrected him and I said, Tip, you don't have to worry about that, right? You worry about me because I have a connection to you. He starts to override and ignore all those things in the environment. But then he realizes those things in the environment aren't anything he has to worry about anyways, okay? So that's the theory behind it. He learns to go in the world and not be stressed out, because with his owners, because they don't have the right methods, and we're going to turn right here, they don't have the right methods, he goes out into the world thinking he has to protect everybody, and he's not built for it. And he's getting worked up, he's getting very stressed, he's going over threshold, and then we're seeing the problem behaviors, okay? So once we start to reel him in, because he drifted a little bit, get him to focus, give him an understanding of consequence, what's expected, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, we start to see the dog calm down and a lot of those problem behaviors go away. We want to remember that things like reactivity, aggression, they're symptoms of a problem. Once you start to address the root of the problem, the symptoms will start to go away. So we're at 35 currently. Max doing a great job with, again, being in that nice heel position. Only a few sessions in, only just over 24 hours, and picking up on the concepts. Okay, guys? So if you doubt e-collar, you're not sure about e-collar, it's the greatest training tool. And as long as you have someone who knows what they're doing, you're going to make great progress. I'm just Canine Perspective.